This is the Bethune-Cookman University Wildcat News Feed on Sirius XM, Radio Channel 142. HBCU, broadcasting from the Wildcat Lab in Daytona Beach, Florida. WELE 1380, The Cat. It's time to hear the good news from BCU.
Good afternoon and welcome to the BCU Wildcat Newsfeed, also known as #Talk Tuesday, the place where we get the real, raw, and relevant facts about what's going down on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University and HBCUs all around the world. I am your host, Franshawn Reed Barnes, and you are listening to WELE 1380 The Cat. This past weekend, BCU alumni from all around the world traveled to Miami, Florida for the 49th National Alumni Association Convention hosted by the Miami chapter. So, today, here to help us talk a little bit more about the role alumni play within the university, the impact of their giving, and various different ways they can support students at the university, is Alumni Giving Manager, Miss Mara Belts. Welcome, Mara.
Thank you, Fran. I'm so happy to be here today.
Well, we are certainly happy to have you with us. So, Mara, let's get straight into the questions that our audience has. Can you tell us, as Alumni Giving Manager, what is the exact role of alumni within a university?
Well, I have 3 words: time, talent, and treasure. Alumni have so many different roles at Bethune-Cookman, and so often we associate giving, as in monetary donations. And I don't want to always focus on that when it comes to alumni, because alumni are so important to any university. But Bethune-Cookman alumni, one of the largest ways that their roles and that they can support the university is to support our students. And so that plays a large role from alumni. And our alumni do such a great job of connecting with our students. They come to the campus and serve as mentors. They may just say a prayer with and for a student. And of course, they do give their monetary love and gifts to the university, which is important to sustain the legacy and to help our students stay in school, of course. And ensure that quality and education both for the students to stay, and then also to ensure that we can keep the level of and quality of education there. So alumni play many different roles. They ensure that the quality of the university is maintained. The support for the students is there. And again, that time, their talents that they offer the university upon graduation, coming back to give, both with their gifts and then with their experience. And again, just supporting those students is a major role from the alumni.
That's awesome. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about giving, but because you focus so much on the time and talent portion, I want to ask you, is there a specific organization or event in place that alumni can come together to give their time and talent? Is it like National Alumni Association or Mentoring Association? Is there a group that alumni can participate in?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because there are a couple ways that they can give. Of course, they can just come and give personally their time or their talents. A lot of alumni maintain their relationships with their faculty, their deans, and so they set up personal time to give to their deans and interact with students from within their fields of expertise or their majors that they graduated from. However, we do have one large event that all of our alumni can come back and participate at once, and it's called the Alumni Day of Service. And that event typically happens the week after spring break in the spring semester in March. We do not have a date set for that event this coming spring, which would be 2018. However, more information about that event will be coming out as we enter into the fall semester. The great thing about Alumni Day of Service is that it's not just the students who are getting something out of this event. And the students are getting something huge out of the event, which is the experience from the alumni. So we have everything from resume building to critiques for the seniors, speed interviewing. The freshmen really get a lot of interaction with the alumni. The alumni do a great job of helping us with trying to maintain relationships with freshmen, so we don't hopefully have such a large attrition rate from that first semester into the second, and then of course going into sophomore year. And the alumni actually get to go into classrooms and participate in what the faculty are doing with their classes, talk about their professional experience, talk about what the students should expect when they graduate, talk with the students about what are best practices and the current standards within their fields. And so the students do get a lot of out of it. But a lot of the feedback that I have heard back from alumni is that they get a lot out of it too. Because coming back to the campus as an alum, and some of them have not come back in quite some years. Some come back every year. And that's, of course, the model that we want, is that they're coming back every year. But some that are first-time alum that come back for Alumni Day of Service really get a lot out of seeing those fresh faces, seeing the excitement out of the student, just hearing the thank yous from our students and hearing how important it was for the student to hear from them and how much they value the alumni and they value that information that they're sharing. And it feels really good as an alum to know that you're still needed at your university.
That sounds powerful. Now, I'm going to come back to the students and what they're doing with alumni, but I do want to ask a few questions about the giving aspect of being an alumni. What is the current giving percentage of alumni at BCU?
Okay, so our current giving percentage at Bethune-Cookman is 6.3% from our entire alumni base. Our alumni base right now is just under 15,000 alumni that we have on record with good addresses that we know where they are. Comparatively to private HBCUs, which of course Bethune-Cookman is, the average alumni giving rate for private HBCUs is 9 to 11%. So we do have some work to do. We have a little bit of a ways to go to meet that average standard. And I'll use this as a segue into some of the plans that we have to increase our alumni giving rates. So our alumni have stepped up to the plate and really made a large commitment to the university to pledge $2 million by 2019. And it's called the Promise to the Future campaign. And this is a partnership that the Alumni Affairs Office has made with the National Alumni Association to raise this $2 million from our alumni base. It sounds like a lot of money, but it's not hard to get to. I just said that we have a alumni base of just about 15,000 alumni. To reach this $2 million by 2019, we only need 3,000 alumni to give $30 a month, of course, starting in July of this year, $30 a month for 24 months, or $720 one time, $360 twice, from 3,000 alumni. And that's pretty realistic considering we have about 15,000 alumni who we can reach out to and hopefully inspire to give to our students and our community.
So it sounds like you all are going after more people with smaller dollar amounts.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And if there's someone listening on YouTube or on the radio that wants to give to the Promise to the Future campaign because this is the first time they're hearing about it, what can they do? Where can they find the donating link? Who can they call?
Okay. So it's very easy to give. They can come to www.cookman.edu, of course, the main website for the university, and they can click the Donate tab on the main webpage. It's in the upper left-hand corner, and that will lead you to the Promise to the Future. There are a few funds, but they can just click Promise to the Future and click how much they want to donate. That's one way. They, of course, can call my office, which I'll say the phone number. It is 386-481-2928. They can email. And my email address is beltzm at cookman.edu. They can also send their checks. They can just send a check directly to the university, written out to Bethune-Cookman University, and write "Promise to the Future" in the memo line of their check. And we can go ahead and get that going. We will give them a call to see if they want to set up a payment plan, or if they just want to do a one-time gift. That's fine as well. We are very reachable, and we'll set up payments easily and quickly.
And Promise to the Future only goes to helping students of Bethune-Cookman University. Is that correct?
Correct. We have, it helps for the academic success of our students. We have some that will go to help emergencies for students, and a portion of it will also go for some, did I say academic support? I can't remember. Yes, academic support.
Now, as a HBCU alumni, can you tell me, as someone who works a lot with the students, what is the greatest need that the students have, that you see students coming in and saying, I need help to finance X, Y, and Z?
Okay. Well, I have quite a few who come in for quite a bit of different things. If I could say the most common request, I'd have to say two. Covering balances is huge. So after financial aid has cleared, after mom and dad have come in and helped, grandma, auntie, uncle, church, everybody's come in and pitched in to help. That last little bit, that gap, that is the largest request, which is where Promise to the Future comes in and helps with those balances, whether it's a senior balance so that they can pay off their fees to graduate, or it's just the students who need to come back from semester to semester. The second request is books. It's always books. And the alumni, any alum can make a huge impact with that, because whether it's $100, $50 for one book, or to cover the whole cost, which averages about $400 for books. I like to tell alumni that even if you're not in a position to give a lot, like say $720 can be quite a bit for one person, depending on their situation. And even though it does break down into $30 a month, maybe somebody's not prepared to do that right now, or they can, whatever their situation is. However, just buying one book for one student makes a large impact on whether they can be successful or not in school. So even just helping out a student with a book can make a huge impact on the success and the future of a student at Bethune-Cookman.
Now, I was at the National Alumni Association convention last weekend, and I was very touched when I saw some of the stories that you all shared of students that have benefited from alumni that have given in their honor. Can you share with me two specific stories of students, a male and a female, that have benefited from someone's kind donation?
Yes, absolutely. So, excuse me. One of our students, we had a freshman young lady, and I don't know if I should call out her name because I don't know if these students want to be called out, but we had a young lady who was a freshman, and she loves Bethune-Cookman, loves it. Her first semester, she was very successful. I believe she came out with maybe a 3.5 GPA after her first semester at Bethune-Cookman, and she didn't want to leave. However, after everything I was just talking about with the balances and everybody pitched in, financial aid came through, she had a balance of about $2,400, which is substantial. Mm-hmm. And if she did not pay that down, she couldn't be a student any longer at Bethune-Cookman. No more Wildcats for her. And I emailed her local chapter, her local alumni chapter from where she was from, which was Tampa, the Hillsborough County chapter. And I just, I kind of did a Hail Mary pass and just emailed them. I had her write a little bio about herself and what she wanted to do, her future plans, and sent that out to them, to their chapter president, which he, of course, shared with his membership. And they stepped up in a big way. and they paid this young lady's balance so
Wow.
that she could come back to be in school. She was able to get the money together to stay in school to come back this fall, but because the chapter supported her for that one spring semester, which was just this past spring, she is now able to stay a Wildcat and finish for the next 3 years. And hopefully, the way she's going, she'll graduate and go on to bigger and better things. So that is one really, really good story that has just recently happened. And shout out to the Hillsborough County chapter and Andre Diggs, their president, for really stepping up and helping this young lady. Another story that I can just tell is that, and this is just an overall, I don't have a specific student or anything, but the National Alumni Association has stepped up for our students and paying for their books. And the Life Membership Committee on the National Alumni Association every year has donated a certain amount of money to cover the cost of books for our students. So this past year, they gave us $10,000, and $10,000 goes pretty quick with our students. And they were able to support 23 students in purchasing their books for school, and those students have no problems and, again, are able to complete their studies without having to go to the library and make copies of other kids' books and things like that, which happens on campus. So thank you again to the National Alumni Association and the Life Membership Committee, chaired by Trustee Wayne Davis, and their generous donation to our students as well.
That is phenomenal. So you almost answered this in the question before, but is there a way for donors to designate where their funds go? Can someone call and say, I want to give specifically to this student, or I want to give to a senior, or I want to give to an incoming freshman?
Absolutely. So there are plenty of ways to give as far as calling the school. But on top of that, people can start scholarships specifically for a program, for a certain demographic of student, just as you said. So for a senior with a certain GPA, they absolutely can designate. It's called a designated scholarship. So they can designate their funds for a particular, like I said, demographic of student. They can give their funds to a particular student if they have a student in mind, just as the Hillsborough County chapter did with the young lady that they supported. If somebody wants to start, or somebody or a group wants to start a scholarship, it can be an endowed scholarship, which is a restricted fund. Our endowments are required to be at $10,000 or more. The way that those work is that they have to sit for a year to accrue interest, and the scholarships are awarded off of the dividends made. Therefore, of course, the more that is deposited into the endowment, over $10,000, the more is able to be awarded for these students. And again, annual scholarships, they can either be free and open to any student, or the donor can restrict it to, say, a student that's a sophomore education major with a 2.5 or higher. They can get very specific. They can even say they have to be from a certain county. So it can be very specific or as broad as they want it to be.
That's good. Now, switching the conversation up to this past weekend in Miami, you presented to the alumni this past weekend. Can you share with us some of the information that you shared with them during your presentation?
Absolutely. One of the biggest takeaways, I would say, is that our office has surpassed its fundraising targets. Our targets overall unrestricted dollars were $3.5 million. And again, we have surpassed that target already by about $65,000, which was huge for us this year. And we still have another day of fundraising to go. Our fiscal year officially closes tomorrow. So we are excited by that. Outside of that, I think what the alumni took away a lot was the presentation by our students. And again, I know we're focusing a lot on students, but we're all here for students. And we would not be here if not for our students. So we did have representatives from our pre-alumni council do a presentation to our alumni as well. And the president, Jakari Harris, he led our students through this presentation. They talked to our alumni about what they have coming up in this academic year. One of the biggest things that the alumni really hung on to was their new 1904 campaign, in which they will be asking students, faculty and staff, and alumni to give $19.04 to their fund to help Miss UNCF get to her national title. And of course, the 1904 has significant meaning to the university as far as the legacy is concerned and the founding of the school. And I think that was a large impact for our alumni, and it was very important for our alumni to see what our students have planned and what they're doing. So that was important for us to put out there to show our alumni how their dollars are working for our students, and not just telling them, but showing them who they're impacting.
Yeah, I was there during that moment, and it was like their faces lit up. They were just beaming with pride to see these amazing young men standing in front of them talking about how they intended to continue the legacy.
Absolutely.
Now, I heard we crowned a new Miss Alumni. Can you help us shout her and her royal court out?
Absolutely. So before I do that, I have to congratulate the outgoing court, which, I would be remiss if I did not do that. Miss Alumni Vanessa Lloyd from Volusia County. It was the outgoing Miss Alumni. Miss Maroon Judy Holliday from Palm Beach County, and Miss Gold Linda Swain from St. Petersburg. Now, our beautiful Miss Alumni who is incoming in her court, Miss Gary Harris, again Miss Alumni from Miami-Dade County. Our incoming Miss Maroon, Natasha Dobson from Duval-Nassau County, and Miss Gold, Dr. Shayla Winden from Orange County. And they are beautiful women. They are going to serve and represent the Alumni Association and all of the alumni wonderfully. And I know they have a lot in store, and they plan to do some things with our current alumni, our student queens as well. So we're very excited to see what they have coming out.
So I'm going to ask the question that everyone wants to know. Where is the 50th National Alumni Association Convention going to be held next year?
Okay, this is the golden year, 50 years. Well, excitingly enough, the convention next year in 2018 will be held in Orlando, Florida, the home of the Florida Classic, where we have beat the Rattlers 6 years in a row. So we're bringing it back to Central Florida. It should be a good one. The Orange County chapter is very excited to be hosting it next year, and it should be exciting and fun. So more information about that will also be coming out, hopefully in the next 6 months or so.
Now, I know a time of year that alumni most look forward to at all colleges and universities are homecoming and graduation and monumental events. And I want to talk a little bit about that coming up. But before I do, I want to ask a question regarding giving. A lot of alumni believe they are supporting the university by attending events, games, homecoming functions, etc. Is this the case, or is a blanket donation better?
Attending events is absolutely a way that they can support. They support through ticket sales. They support through bringing up morale, cheering on our students, cheering on through games, and just creating that atmosphere of love and support, whether it's through a donation, a gift, whether it's through patting somebody on the back. And again, those ticket purchases are huge for our student athletes, through the step shows, through whatever it is that is their specific love. If they love the chorale, if they love the band, if they love any of the sports, if they love hearing some of our speakers that we come and bring to the campus, our academic programs, whatever it is, coming and seeing alumni on campus, seeing alumni at the BCU events is a way to give back. Now, of course, we need the gifts. Again, that's what helps sustain the school and keep our kids here. However, we can't just take gifts and not see alumni.
Now, in about 30 seconds, because we're about to wrap this up, can
Okay.
you tell us about some of the events coming up for alumni at Bethune-Cookman University?
Certainly. So tonight, actually, we have a young alumni mixer at Sunsetters on 115 Main Street. And this is just our effort to reach out to our young alumni and get them mixing and mingling, and our way to engage with them from my office and to make them feel loved and important. Also, just as a note, we will be bringing our 40 Under 40 awards. We usually host it during the Florida Classic. This year it's going to be during homecoming. And so more and more information will be coming out about the 40 Under 40 awards. We have closed the nominations for that, so the rollout of who will be receiving awards should be coming up in the next few weeks. And so I'd like to have all of the alumni and listeners on the lookout on the Facebook and on the website for that. We're really excited about that event. And again, our young alumni outreach is getting bigger and better, and we have a lot of ways for them to get involved. And so that's very important to our office.
Well, thank you so much, Mara, for stopping by and sharing with us the various different ways that HBCU alumni can support their university and the students there. This is Fran Reed Barnes tuning in with the BCU Wildcat News feed, also known as hashtag Talk Tuesday, the place where you get the real, raw, and relevant facts about what's going down on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University. See you next week.
On October 3rd, 1904, a very determined young black woman, our founder, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, opened the Daytona Literary and Industrial Training School for Negro girls with $1.50 and faith in God. Today, those same values stand: faith in God. When looking for a university to further your children's education, there's none better than Bethune-Cookman University. The university is guided by its core values. First, FIRST. F as in faith. We recognize and uphold the first Christian tradition while welcoming the diversity of faiths. I for integrity. We live in a way that reflects our deepest convictions. R for respect. We recognize the inherent dignity and worth of each person. S as in service. We seek social justice through civic engagement. T as in thirst for knowledge. We are engaged in the continuous pursuit of learning that transforms us and the world. Go to our website at www.cookman.edu/admissions or call 386-481-2603 or 1-800-448-0228. Your first step for the future starts at Bethune-Cookman University. Enter to learn, depart to serve. Bethune-Cookman University.